Hello, everyone. My name is Shakatherine Garner, and I am from West Point, Georgia. It is a small town that sits on the state line of Alabama. Um, I am a licensed master social worker, and I obtained my bachelor's of social work degree from Savannah State University in 2019. And then I went on to obtain my master's of social work degree from Clark Atlanta University in 2021. So, why did I choose to pursue social work as my career? I've always had a deep desire to help those around me and wanted to naturally give back to the community, but I feel like that's a generic answer we always hear about a social worker's why. And honestly, I discovered my why while working in the field. And one thing I always remember from my bachelor's program is that my professors will always say that social work is a calling, it's not something you just do, right? And I can truly say that I understand what they meant by that because the joy I feel from working with children and youth and their families has just been exceptional, both professionally and personally. I think that children and youth all have a common thing that they ultimately want, and that's love. Um, a lot of our kiddos just need that one person in their life that cares about them and want to see them have successful lives. And with me being a social worker for this population, it has given me the chance to advocate for the kiddos and to be their voice of reasoning because they deserve to be heard. Their voices matter too. Um, a child deserves to be protected. These kiddos are so deserving of a good life and a successful future. And when things get tough in the field for me, I always think about my reason why, and that everything is always so much bigger than me, even at times when I can't see it or don't think I'm doing my due justice as a social worker. How was my experience at an HBCU as an undergraduate and a graduate student? Um, for both experiences were culture shocks for me. And what I mean by that is that I am from a small town. So both times I often felt like a fish out of water. But undergrad, it was more so comforting because I met people who were just like me and who was also trying to figure out where they fit in and getting used to the thought of there's more to life outside of all that I knew from my small town. Um, I definitely do think Savannah State for sure laid down the blueprint for me by helping me to see and to think bigger than anything I've ever known. Uh, my grad school experience was cut short because I was a student during the time when COVID hit the world. So when the world shut down, I had to transition to finishing my graduate program online, and finishing up a graduate program in the midst of the world chaos and uncertainty was by far one of the most challenging things I've done. But that is when I learned what networking meant because I was painfully, painfully shy in undergrad. So I didn't do as much networking during that time period. The shutdown was, in a sense, a blessing in disguise for me because it pushed me to step out of my comfort zone by speaking of and reaching out to my cohorts and professors during that time when it came to assignments, discussing class recordings. And because of that, I not only gained the confidence to network, I ended up building amazing friendships that has truly carried me these past few years. And I am forever grateful for them. How did I use my network to secure internships? Both of undergrad and grad school programs, I had a field liaison who was responsible for pairing us to potential internships that will best suit us. I did, however, had to interview for my undergrad internship, which was for the public defender's office as a forensic social worker. And that internship truly changed the trajectory of my career, in my opinion, because it taught me my strengths and capabilities as a social worker. My grad school internships again, I was placed at both of my sites because I chose to do the 2-year program. So I had 2 internships during my time at Clark Atlanta. But again, as I kind of touched on in the previous question, my Clark Atlanta experience during COVID definitely brought along amazing network connections for me. And it made my networking grow fondly of me because even in the midst of uncertainty, I still continued to show up and fulfill my duties and gain all that I could from both internship experiences. What steps do you have to take to be licensed? Well, firstly, you have to obtain a Master's of Social Work degree from an accredited school. Emphasis on accredited, because getting a social work degree from a school that is not accredited by the CSWE, which is an acronym for the Council on Social Work Education, is basically a waste of time and money because it won't be a valid degree, unfortunately. So that's the main part. In the state of Georgia, to apply for the LMSW exam, you have to provide the board with an unofficial transcript of your degree, 2 professional references, a completed background check, but the board will give you more clarification on what steps to take about getting that step completed. A completed LMSW exam board application, and actually paying the application fee itself. You can apply online. However, I applied with the paper application because I like to keep copies of things, because doing things online can sometimes get misconstrued. And with something as important as this, I wanted to make sure everything was everything. And in case of any mishaps, I could easily get my hands on it and resend the documents if needed. But to each his own. But if you choose to go the paper route, make sure you get it notarized. 3 tips that I would give scholars who are currently going through their educational journey. I would say focus on your own race. It's sometimes so easy to fall victim of comparing and contrasting with your peers, but it's important to remember that everyone's journey is going to look different. And I am a firm believer of divine time. And so make sure to remember that even when things get tough, you are still on the right path, which brings me to my next tip. And that is learn how to pivot. It is okay when something is no longer for you. And that can go in multiple ways outside of education, and just being comfortable with changing things up that will best suit you and your needs. And my last tip is going to be for my shy people. I definitely encourage you all to step out of your comfort zone and to talk. I think with being shy, we get in our heads a lot, and it causes us to overthink way too much. But once you start opening yourself up, you will soon realize that you relate to more people than what you think, and that is truly so many amazing opportunities waiting for you on the other side of fear. So just go for it. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. I hope you all enjoyed my chat about my journey in social work.